Hi, I'm Don Moores. Welcome to Montgomery Weekend Review. Early voting begins next week in Montgomery County, which will enable citizens to go to 10 different sites located throughout the county and cast their votes, and even to register that same day. Gilberto Zelaya from the Board of Elections has the details. Dr. Z is in the house. The League of Women Voters of Maryland works hard each year to give citizens the information about elections so that more voters will exercise their guaranteed franchise to vote. Ralph Watkins from the League is here to explain. On October 26th, Montgomery Community Media, that's where we are right now, will host an exciting evening featuring Cokie and Steve Roberts, our own Cokie and Steve Roberts of Montgomery County, doing their best to predict the November 8th election results. Tony Spearman-Leach, one of the leaders of MCM, has this story. Our final story, which changes our topic a bit, looks forward to Thanksgiving and the upcoming holiday season. As we know, people throughout our county are amazingly charitable, and many of us want to work together to help those who are most in need. Charlotte Garvey from Interfaith Works is here to give us some suggestions as we look ahead to how we can help those who need help the most. Dr. Z,
Yes.
Gilberto Zelaya, one of my favorite people.
Thank you.
How you doing?
Likewise. Good. Busy.
You can't be getting much sleep these days, can you?
No, maybe 4 hours a week. So.
You're there, Board of Elections. Your job is recruiting folks to come work and so much more. So give us an update on what's coming.
So we're coming to the kind of the end of the line. So we're always recruiting election judges. We're training our team, are getting all the equipment and machinery ready. Ballots, we're coordinating early voting. We have 10 early voting centers. So keep in mind, Thursday, October 27th through Thursday, November 3rd, individuals can exercise their constitutional right to a secret ballot at one of any 10 early voting centers across Montgomery County. Keep in mind, unlike Election Day, you're not tied to an early voting center. So you could vote at any of the 10 once, and if you vote during early voting, you should not present yourself on election
Which I
day.
think, for me personally, it's been a great help because I've gone to the early voting centers that are close to my work.
Yes.
As opposed to having to squeeze out that half an hour, maybe there's a line on my way to work or
Yes.
rushing back if I have a late meeting. That's fantastic to be able to do that.
Yeah, the benefit, especially in this area, because of traffic. You know, that traffic takes at any point an hour to get from point A to point B.
And people can see and learn about where those 10
Yes.
sites are and so much more at your website, right?
On our website. So we have all the information on our website. Also, every single registered voter got a sample ballot. And
Right.
in the sample ballot has a lot of information for election day and early voting preparation. We have a lot of rich information, how to leverage the new voting system as an optical scan ballot. We also have information on the new ballot marking device, our ADA compliant equipment. And so there's a lot of information, so definitely do not throw this away. Look for it. We actually spent a little bit more to have it in color so it could stand out. So I definitely encourage our voters to do your research and mark your ballot.
Before I open this up for questions, your job has gotten even more difficult this year because of the allegations, the nationwide allegations about rigged elections. I mean,
it's been interesting, yes.
Montgomery County, are we rigged here?
No, we're best practices. I think Montgomery County overall, we're recognized at a national and international level of being one of the top 10 jurisdictions. And I think it's definitely, it attests to the hard work and dedication from the bottom up, from top down. Our voters are very, they're prepared. Our judges, our volunteers, we're blessed to have.
Well-trained.
Well-trained, and we have our future vote ambassadors, our youth, grades 6 to 12. There's a lot of individuals, not just one or two individuals. It's a whole family that really encompasses what is election day and early voting.
And Gilberto, do you expect lines? There's so much interest in this election.
Yeah, you know, when you say the L word, people get upset. It's part of democracy,
Yeah.
you know, and that's why you have absentee voting. You have 8 continuous day from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. You have 10 early voting centers, and you have election day. So you have a menu of options.
You know, I don't know about you, but those lines, it's the one time you really get a chance to also talk to your neighbors. But yeah.
I was going to ask, we all want to avoid the lines. I'll be honest about it.
Yeah, of course.
But what are, like, I'm sure that some of the centers are more used and some are,
Of course.
Are less used.
Yes.
What would be good places for people to look at?
For early voting, you're talking
yeah,
about.
Yeah,
Early
for early
voting.
voting, the first place is on our website. We have actually a kind of a dashboard which will tell you what are the wait times for each early voting center. So if you know that Silver Spring off the top and Germantown are the busiest early voting centers across the state of Maryland. So we have Damascus, we have Mid-County, we have
And
the
again-
executive office.
Again, the
building.
dashboards there on your website.
Yeah,
What
the
is that
dashboards.
website again?
So it's 777vote.org. So you have the dashboard, a lot of information. You have the wait time. So, you know, kind of coordinate your day accordingly. You know what's going on that day. We have 8 days of early voting. You have absentee, and you have election day, which is Tuesday, November 8th.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, you're neutral. The county, you've got Republicans, Democrats, and you're in the board of elections. Republican chair because it's a Republican governor. But you're about the security of the
Yes.
of the process. What's that like, though? You've got, but in the middle of this is a political thing, and you've got. It seems like Democrats and Republicans are more ornery with each other this
Yeah.
election cycle than they've been in recent memory.
Yeah, I think it's been very polarized, but our office, we have mutual respect. And we understand that we're here to enforce and to guarantee your constitutional right to a secret ballot following norms and procedures established by the state of Maryland. So I think we're here to serve. We're a public servant. We're here to serve, but we do ask our voters to be prepared, and it would help us. And also keep in mind our volunteers are there for you, so respect them as well. Yeah,
When
please
you say
respect
be
them as well.
prepared, what do you mean? There we go.
Sample ballot.
And
Bring
our
the guide.
voter's guide.
Yeah, and the voters.
Yeah,
guide.
we'll talk about your voters' guide in a second. Do you feel like you work well with the local?
Oh, we have a terrific working relationship with the Board of Elections. Yeah, they're enormously helpful to us in making sure we get the right materials, training, and we try to help them out with
And they're a
voter
great
registration.
partner, and the league is a great partner. And we work with hundreds of other organizations, faith-based, community, businesses, and so I think it's
15 seconds left. Look in the camera. Give your best pitch about coming out to vote.
This is the cliff notes of election day early voting preparation. Look at your particular ballot style, do your research at home, and then be prepared and figure out if you're going to vote absentee, early voting, or on election day.
Do you encourage people to vote, or do you not want them to come out and vote?
We want them all to show up. Yes, please. We want every single registered voter in Maryland, and also same-day registration. If you missed the deadline, you could register to vote during same-day registration.
Just for the early
or
voting,
Just
not
for the early
not
voting.
for November 8th.
No.
Great segue to you,
Yes.
Ralph. Welcome back.
Thank you.
It's great. So the Maryland League different from the Montgomery County League.
Well, yes, it's the state affiliate, but I'm in charge of helping all of the local leagues put together their voters' guides and Vote 411, which is
Right.
our online service.
Well, so we're the largest jurisdiction. We're the wealthiest, or total funds. I was yesterday out in Dorchester County in Cambridge on sort of one of the opposite sides with a couple of leaders. And what are the challenges between dealing with very small jurisdictions versus large jurisdictions? Do you find yourself with those places where the resources are not as great that you need to be spending more time with them, or with the big guys, or what's going on?
What we found is that a county like Montgomery, we get volunteers from Montgomery to help us cover the counties that don't have resources. We have 17 of our counties are covered by local leagues, but
Right.
7 of them have no local league.
Right.
Nonetheless, we put out a voter's guide, at least in PDF form or on Vote 411. Every single office in every county in Maryland is covered.
And Vote 411 is your,
That is our online version of the voter's guide.
so it's a website,
It is a website.
because we're putting a website up right now.
Oh, cool. Vote411.org. Go there, type in your address, and it will show you just the candidates who are going to appear on your ballot.
And is this a nationwide league, Vote
Yes.
411?
Yes, Vote 411 is nationwide. Maryland is one of the few states that covers the entire state. In a lot of other locations, it's 1 or 2 of the large cities. They don't have the service elsewhere. Maryland, we cover everything.
You got to be exhausted then too.
A little tired.
Challenges that you've seen that from either as we're talking about the polarity this year, an ability of people from the two sides to seem to be able to talk to one another every once in a while, candidates that might be a little bit out of control, anything that, from the league's perspective, that you see as issues?
There's always struggles in trying to get candidates pinned down to get their responses back to us, but also for candidate forums, there's always a lot of horse trading about what time is good for me versus the time for that person, and everybody wants to put their oar in designing the process, and we just have to hold the line in terms of what we think is a fair process and our format.
I think one of the also that we collaborate with the League of Women Voters is because Montgomery County, compared to other counties, let's say Worcester or Wicomico, is very diverse.
Yeah.
So you have the other issues of languages, cultural competency, and the League in Montgomery County, I mean, I could attest, they're very competent, very respectful and mindful, especially when there's the issue of language access. Not everyone within Montgomery County who is registered to vote speaks English. And so
And
it is
again, a
very
lot of
diverse.
transplants from Montgomery County who've gone to the
Exactly.
shore don't speak shore.
Yeah.
English either. I mean, I can say that. I mean, at times it is a different language out there.
But they do really great outreach, and they really
Yeah.
do, they really meet the community halfway, and they really do an outstanding job.
I want to ask you, have you noticed an increased demand for the league's voter guides? Because this has been such a controversial election, so much activity. What feedback have you been feeling?
We're getting pretty brisk demand. The one issue, though, is that a lot of people know there's a presidential election, and they don't realize
Down ballot.
Congress and Board of Education.
Right.
A couple of counties have local offices, like County Executive up in Cecil. So we still, there's a greater need than people are realizing for this information, because they're going to walk into the polling place, see people they didn't know were going to be on the ballot, and say, now what do I do?
You know, I got
Too late.
I was so impressed with the answers from the presidential candidates to the questions that were posed to them. I haven't seen it too much in the debates, especially the first two debates of the direct answers. But you go to the voters guide, the league's voters guide, and there they are. If you really want to know, what a service you all provide.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, that's the point. We try to keep the focus on the issues. There just isn't room for the name calling and stuff when you're just answering our questions.
Yeah, and the name calling. What are you all going to do at the name? About a minute left. What league initiatives do you see coming out of this? Looking at, we've got the Maryland, we've got the gubernatorial elections coming up or cycle. What lessons can we take out of the national race in terms of civility that maybe we can try to advance the cause of civility at the state level?
Well, I think the main thing is we just want to keep our forums focused on the issues and try to rein in the candidates and the audiences as well. So we keep the focus on the issues and not side things of personalities.
About 15 seconds left. Do you want to make a pitch about voting into the camera, or do you
Our-
care about people coming out to vote?
Absolutely. We want everybody to vote. We want everybody to be informed before they vote. And so we urge them to get our voter's guide or go to vote411.org.
Excellent. Good pitch, man.
We try.
We'll be right back after these messages. And we're back. Tony, welcome.
Thank you.
It's funny for me to welcome you to your own place at Montgomery Community Media, but before we go to what we really want to be talking about Steve and Cokie Roberts and about all these great programs that you've spearheaded, it's been fantastic. I want to ask you, I know that MCM, Montgomery Community Media, has been doing a lot with the elections as well.
Absolutely.
We have the voters guides, voter guides, but you've been doing some really cool stuff with videos.
We supplement in partnership with the Montgomery Elections Department, which is phenomenal partners. They give us the list of who to reach out to. We've always been partners with the League of Women Voters, and they're great friends and partners. We solicit all the candidates all the way down the ballot to give their information in video statement.
Great.
We call them candidate statements.
Right.
They come into the studio. They all look the same. They have exactly the same 2 minutes.
Yep.
And they present their reason, their rationale, to us, the voters.
Present their case.
That's right, as to why we should
Right.
vote for them.
Right.
And so if you really want to hear first voice from those candidates, take your League of Women Voters Guides, take your sample ballot, go to mymcmedia.org, which is
Right.
mymcmedia.org, and go look at the actual videos that match up with the sample ballot, that match up with the League of Voters Guide.
Perfect.
And you can actually make your decisions by hearing them tell you themselves.
Hear the stories, and then read more on the issues, look where they are in this, which is a great segue because coming up on October 26th are two of the country's leading political commentators.
Absolutely.
We'll be talking about these elections. I don't know if they're going to be talking about the Board of Elections so much, but certainly the Clinton-Trump race, and I would imagine they'll also get into the Van Hollen-Shallega race and
Absolutely.
and the race for the control of Congress. So tell us about this great event.
We are really honored, I guess proud would be the best word, to have partnered with the Montgomery Historical Society, which is now known as Montgomery History, to put together for the community an evening with Steve and Cokie Roberts. And as we all know, that if you've been in the Twitterverse or if you've been out on any social media website, you have seen especially Cokie Roberts having her say and getting a lot of feedback from the candidates on the type of dialogue we've been having as a nation,
Sure.
the issues that we've held close to our hearts. And her husband is well known across the nation as being one of the top political commentators. So they've decided to go unmoderated
Okay.
on stage here at Montgomery Community Media, where they're going to tell everyone what they have seen happen, where they see this nation heading.
Okay. Good.
And the questions are going to come from the audience.
Great.
So if you're here, ask your questions.
Cokie Roberts every Monday morning on WAMU.
Absolutely.
Steve Roberts has been a guest host for Diane Rehm
For years.
For years when her voice and going on. A great couple. Congratulations on getting them. What do you see? And I know there are a lot of questions that people want to ask, but what do you hope to get out of this?
Well, there are two things. One, this is a charitable deduction, a fundraiser for Montgomery history. So you're doing good by participating. But two, I think what's more important is you're getting to ask your own questions. What is it you really want to know about this election? And if you go to their website, montgomeryhistory.org, it's very simple, montgomeryhistory.org, you can purchase your tickets to come and ask your question directly to Steve and Cokie.
Perfect. I think that's a great resource. I think, like you mentioned, the combination of the media resources you have, which is visual, and then the information that the league provides, and then all the information how to get ready for election day is a great combination.
And then with them coming on as commentators, I think they've also been very involved with charities.
Yes.
All through here. I think it's been it's interesting when you look at Cokie Roberts, and she came from a political family as well,
Yes.
Yeah.
and having her father
Dale
having been
Boggs.
a congressman in Louisiana. Be interesting. What do you think is going to come out of this in terms of their commentary? Just put yourself in their shoes right now.
They are really going to talk about
We've got about a minute left
what
only.
impact this is going to have going down the ballot. The truth is, I think that America is starting to settle into the decisions one way or the other. We've seen that the nation's kind of divided, but we're going to have ripple effects that we're going to feel for decades at this point. And they're going to talk about local impact and what's going to happen on the economic choices that we're
Okay.
facing, what's going to happen on the legal choices and the impact that's going to have. This will be well past my lifetime. And so I think what people are going to ask in the audience is, what is going to happen to me?
20 seconds left. We're almost. We could talk all day about.
Oh, absolutely.
Real quick, upcoming. You see more things coming down the pike. We got 10
We
seconds.
have wonderful things coming down the pike. Of course, you've seen here in the community things with Garrison Keillor coming. You've seen things with Montgomery Community Media is doing more events like the Nutcracker. So we're going to
Okay.
have more things for you. Go to our websites, montgomeryhistory.org. Go to mymcmedia.org. Sign up and participate.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
ads, each of you. We're going to have you do one at the end.
Now it's my
about
turn.
coming down with charity at Interfaith Works.
Terrific.
Charlotte, welcome back.
Oh, thank you so much. It's great to be here.
So now we're here. We'll get out of all of this, whatever we want to call it, this election, which is kind of leaving everybody kind of yucky.
Well,
Then we've got kind of a deep breath,
the deep breath is,
and
well,
then Thanksgiving and joy.
Thanksgiving, yes. I'd like to start out sort of thinking about the winds of change potentially blowing through, or they may or may not be
Sounds
in
like a
terms of the
Kansas song.
election.
That's Dust in the Wind, right? Winds of change.
Close
Right, there's
enough.
there's a line
Close
in there.
enough,
about
Josh.
that.
Interfaith Works has been around since 1972, and we are about to go through a series of exciting changes for a lot of our programs that'll take us kind of to that next step. We really focus on helping people lift themselves from poverty using prevention, stabilization, and empowerment. So we've got some big changes coming that'll help us do that.
So let's talk about those changes.
All right.
And then, but I do want to make sure we've got time to talk about Thanksgiving
Absolutely.
and Christmas or New Year.
The holiday
the holiday
season,
season. I know
absolutely.
there's no right holiday season.
It's all a wonderful season.
Right. It's a wonderful season.
We have
So
3
much
big
changes.
moves. Our women's shelter will be moving to a location in Rockville.
Women's
and
shelter.
it'll be co-located with
Okay.
health and mental health services, physical health services, everything right there. The women face a lot of transportation barriers. Those are going to be gone.
Thank goodness. And as you're talking about this, we've got a website that people can
Yes,
refer
if you
to.
go to www.iworksmc.org and click on You Can Help,
Okay.
you'll find all you need to know there.
Women's Shelter Rockville. Thank goodness of co-locating with the services,
Yeah.
wraparound, and,
Yes.
and there we are. Number
And
2.
our Interfaith Clothing Center, which for a lot of people is the best way they know us, is going
Oh
to be
my-
in the same site, but upstairs, new stuff, bigger facility, classroom space for people to take English classes, vocational services on-site, computer lab. So if you're a mom who comes in and is looking for a coat for your kid, you can also talk to a vocational counselor. You can look for a job. You can brush up your resume. There are a lot of things that will happen, again, on-site.
My kids got more service hours at volunteering at the old Broome.
It's Broome Middle School on
and
Twin Brook Parkway, and we're going to be same site, better place
I parked
upstairs.
so many times in that lot right there, waiting for them to come in. Come
It's
out.
still there waiting for you.
And I've been in too. Okay,
Excellent.
Keep going.
All right, our next move will be our community vision facility in downtown Silver Spring.
Wow.
And that's where we help out folks who are experiencing chronic homelessness, what some people call street people. And they come in and they get basic services, and in these cold weather months that are coming up starting November 1, they can stay there overnight. Same facility or same services are going to move down the road to a beautiful new building, and again, we'll be able to offer
Where in
more
Silver
and
Spring?
better. It is just off Georgia Avenue.
Okay.
It's just south of, it's just a little bit north of the DC line where
Okay.
Silver Spring Avenue hits Georgia
Sure.
Avenue.
I know
So
that. I know that very
big
well.
transformation happening, and that means we need more help from you. So I'm going to segue into Thanksgiving. We
Right.
are giving Thanksgiving for all the people who came out and donated our clothing center for the folks who experienced that terrible explosion and fire at Long Branch.
Right.
We've got so many things that have been donated that what we need now is your labor. We would love to have your teens or your family come out and sort clothing for us. If that's not your cup of tea, if you can hold a coat drive for us, linens, the basic things people need to start that next step in life. A lot of those Long Branch survivors are now moving into housing.
Well, let's pause there. Let's
Okay.
open it up for
That was
questions.
a lot
I'm
of
sure it's a
words.
lot of questions. No,
Yes.
it's fantastic. What you're doing, it's
I was
great.
going to ask you, is there like a needs list that I can go on your website and get
If you go on our website, yes, thanks Tony for asking. Again, it's www.iworksmc.org, and it says you can help, and we're updating that constantly, the needs. I mean, as the community gives the outpouring of help, we move on, and there are other needs that need to be filled. I do want to mention on the coat drive front, our wonderful partners at Strathmore will be holding a coat drive right there on site. And so if
Okay.
you go to a Strathmore event and you drop off your coats that you cleared out of your closet, you can get a discount coupon from them. We'll have more details on our website for that
And
too.
then all those coats are left behind at performances and the chairs when it's because it's so warm outside and they don't need to wear them outside. Donate those too.
Maybe, Don.
It's worth a try.
I think of socks and diapers. I hear socks and diapers a lot. Are those seem
Those
to
are
be,
needs. I mean, the baby needs are always there. We actually put together layettes for new moms. So if you want to hold a sort of pretend baby shower for our clients and gather up the needs for the babies, and that's true for the Long Branch survivors as well. That's a really big need for them. So, but we also need men's shoes. Now, we get plenty of women's shoes. I don't want to sound sexist here, but for men, they use shoes till they die and move on, but we need men's shoes particularly because we're really focusing on our vocational program,
Okay.
jobs program. That first step really to independence can be a new job, and you've got to dress the part. So men's shoes.
We have about 30 seconds left. Where do you see you?
No.
Okay, I'll get you.
When-
When looking ahead at the holiday season, you've got the Thanksgiving, we got food bank, food pantry, and you know I often am thinking about the day after Thanksgiving.
Well, thanks, Don. That's a nice segue for me too. So many people focus their efforts around, the holiday season, and we love that. We've got so many congregations and other groups, Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, helping us out. think about us at other times of year. We're still here. Our clients are still here. www.iworksmc.org.
What a great end. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I want to thank you guys. What a great show. Thank you very much for
Thank
being
you.
here with me, and thank all of you in the viewing audience for joining us for this week's edition of Montgomery Week in Review. I'm Don Moores, inviting you to join us next week at this very same time.